Morning everyone, Charlie here. Welcome to Sabai's Nishiyama Park. As you maybe can tell, we do one of these, right? It is Sakura season here in Japan. This weekend actually, I think yesterday was the official height of the blooms, April 2nd. Today will hopefully be just as good, though the weather is kind of a little bit cloudier this morning than I'd like it to be, but what can you do? I don't know if the festival's still going on today. But actually I had plans this afternoon, so that's why I'm down here this morning. But as you can see, there are a whole bunch of different shops here that are set up for the festival. Excuse me, I got a bit of a cold. This is a yakitori shop. Yakitori-chan. Hua hua wata ame. That is cotton candy, karaage, fried chicken, taiyaki, which is like these sweet cakes shaped like a Thai. That fish right there, I think Thai is red snapper, and then usually it's filled with sweet beans. Yakisoba, potatoes and butter, kind of like baked potatoes. That sounds pretty good. This looks like an okonomiyaki shop, classically referred to as like a savory pancake with shit in the inside. And this looks like a tebasaki shop, which is chicken wings. So let's continue on into the park here. I'll show you guys. We're gonna go to the top hopefully today. Another takoyaki shop. Ohayou gozaimasu. This is like a candied apple shop. Super Bowl. This is like a game area where you can I don't know. Judging by the setup of the troughs, I assume there has to be something with gravity here where you have to bounce the super balls down. I've seen it played before, I just don't remember. Looks like crepes. Look at all the different kinds of crepes. Chocolate banana and custard, caramel and cornflake with some fresh cream, mixed fruits, strawberry and whipped cream. Sounds freaking amazing. Sounds amazing. So as you can see, okay, now we're in like the main park area of Nishiyama here. And now you can get like a really good view of all the cherry blossoms all around here. And then as you can see, there's a big open park area in the center here. And there are people already here with their tarps trying to reserve a space for the, well, for Hanami, right? Cherry, literally flower watching. We're gonna go this way because actually there's something I want to investigate over here. There's apparently a new lesser panda sanctuary, red panda in English, but known as lesser panda here, so I'm starting to use that vocabulary, of course. Things to talk about this morning. Springtime. Springtime for Hitler and Germany. Anybody producer fans out there? Anyway, it is the busiest time of the year for so many people here because, as many of you I'm sure know, not only does the new school year start very soon, probably in just about a week for many of my kids, going back to middle school, junior high school, things like that, but it's also the end of Japan's fiscal year. So for people in management positions, that means rushing to get everything taken care of and everything squared away, whatever that may mean, depending, going from business to business. For me, it means demo lessons coming out of the wazoo, and I'll get back to that in a second. Just let's see what else is here. This is another takoyaki shop. Same tebasaki shop. Soba, ramen, yakitori, soft cream. It's always the same shops in the same places at these things, at this park. Which, for those of you thinking, why didn't you bring us here when the festival's actually going on? I will repeat that I have things to do this afternoon, I have plans. And also because, well, there's no other excuse, but I promise, I promise I will show off one of the festivals to you guys very soon. This is a dango shop. Sweet sweet, super squishy. I guess they're kind of a cake made out of sweet rice flour and then drizzled in some kind of sauce, grilled usually. Not usually, but oftentimes. But the spring, right? So for like I said, people in management positions here, it certainly comes with a lot more stress than it comes with for me. But for me, it means sort of like endless demo lessons as everybody is trying to switch schools because they don't like their teacher or they don't like how their kids are learning English or things like that. So, excuse me, literally this last week I had 6 or 7 demo students. And demos typically aren't that big of a deal because they're like 10 to 15 minutes of basically what you're doing is you're playing some simple games, trying to assess and see what a kid's English ability is already like. All right, like do they know their numbers? Do they know colors already? Can they speak at all? Right? So that's pretty much what you're trying to do. But when you have those lessons start to stack up in number, then of course you start to see how that affects your ability to get the rest of your work done. So it's just been a really busy couple of weeks. It's been fun, right? Because I love seeing these new kids come in, and especially this last crop. I've been pretty lucky because most of the kids actually seem really interested in learning English as opposed to it being forced upon them by their parents. So let's give you guys an idea. Back this way, straight through the cherry blossoms, there is my apartment over in Mizochi town, part of Sabae, sort of like in northeastern Sabae. Over here, this is kind of like central Sabae. Over there, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a train station, and then like of the local what's called the Fukutetsu. The Fukui, sort of central Fukui rail line uses really old trains. I've talked about it before. And then sort of over there, directly over there, is the JR station. So just to give you guys an idea where we are. I'm gonna get out of the way of these people so I'm not getting them in shot. But I want to go up here, show you guys a view of what is western Sabae. Pretty much the city ranges all the way over to the mountains over here in the west. We're gonna turn it this way so I'm not getting them. And yeah, so it's a really exciting time of year. And as you can see, right, like all these things happening, all these new starts, right, fall in line with the cherry blossom blooming, right? It's so this is incredibly like literally symbolic time to sort of get new things underway. That's why people are so big on it, of course. Now, I've taken you guys up here before, of course. Let's get a nice close-up of the cherry blossoms. Unfortunately, I woke up with like a full-blown cold this morning, so I can't smell anything. I can't smell the cherry blossoms. I can see some of my kids down there. Oh boy. Can't smell the cherry blossoms, and it's supposed to rain. And normally, you know, be able to smell the rain a little bit, know when it's coming, so that when I know basically when I need to get the hell out of here. Can't do it today, so I think we're probably gonna get rained on by the time we get to the top. If not, then that's better luck than I expect. I still haven't shown you a view, have I, as I'm rolling up my sleeves here. It's actually quite warm. Well, it's because you're wearing a hat, dummy. I know, but I have terrible bad head, so yeah, this is western Sabae. Sort of down that direction is Echizen City and Takefu and things like that. And then if we go off back here to the north, we would reach Fukui City. Maybe we'll be able to see Fukui City actually from up there when we get there. Probably not. It's going to be a little bit cloudy, so. I either felt rain or I felt rain. Pretty sure it was rain. Now, one thing you notice here, and perhaps that isn't too surprising, is how many sponsors get involved with these sort of, yeah, definitely raining. Definitely raining. How many sponsors get involved with these events? Like this one comes from the the Echizen like lacquerware village, and they have like this big I don't know, I struggle to think what to call it, but palanquin for lack of a better word, that's made out of like lacquer and gold leaf and all these things. And here's like the sign for the Megane Museum. Glasses are like a really big thing here, if you weren't aware. I think I've talked about it before. Right, here's the sign for the Lesser Panda. Like I said, that's where we're going now, but anyway, let's actually talk about some things. I just might have been going from little thing to little thing. This weekend, of course, in Tokyo was the Tokyo Hanami, and of course I'm always a little bit jealous because I can never get the day off for it. It's because my normal work days fall on Saturdays, and it's the only teacher in my school. You know, blah blah, same old sob story, right? So I wasn't able to go. Oh wow, this view. So I wasn't able to go, but it looked like a really good time. Got to see some of my my favorite YouTube friends, and I say friends because they're people whom I've met, and I've found them to be generally delightful people. So it's raining, and you can see that girl we saw earlier just down there on her tarp is not moving an inch. Seems like kind of a passing shower at the moment, but anyway. But yeah, so it's really cool to see the community come together like this, and so everybody gets so excited. And you know, of course, this is a great opportunity for people who don't make videos, who just want to actually meet people who do, to come out and do that. But I always, you know, I won't be able to go to the Osaka one directly next weekend, but I am really excited to say that I will be going to Osaka next Sunday, and hopefully having like something of like a secondary, somewhat smaller meetup with people. I know we're gonna see like Nippon Culture Quest, Hide in Osaka. Check out both their channels if you haven't already, please. Wikipedia, of course, is gonna be there. Pickles to Gaijin, I'm sure, will be there, and many other people. But you know, so that's exciting because I really like. Of course, I've met Piggles. I've met Nippon Culture Quest. I need to get her on this channel for One Cuppa at some point. Jake Dalton, I don't think will be coming down for this one. But yeah, of course, I'm really excited to meet these people and talk with them and everything. I admit I'm especially excited to meet Wikipedia. So this is closed at the moment, but yeah, I'm especially excited to meet Wikipedia. Not open till 5? Oh, it's open until 5:30. Opening from 10, I would imagine. It's only about, it's just now turning 8 o'clock, so we're quite early. As you can see, some kind of stork-like beastie in there, and there's monkey cages over there. But yeah, really excited to meet Wikipedia because she is my creative partner over on the borough, and it'll be really cool to actually meet her in person. I'm sure we'll be talking shop a bit, and it'll be cool getting to actually know her beyond a computer screen, right? That's really neat. Here's yet another panda sort of hanging out on the bench. Now this is closed too, obviously. Oh, you can see the peacock pushing up here, but this tan building, obviously we can't go up there right now because it's closed, is the new habitat for the lesser panda. Now we're gonna walk around this really beautiful stretch. And to get back to meeting people, next weekend, of course, because it's a weekend, I will be shooting One Cuppa, and I will be bringing on Wikipedia. At least right now, that is the plan. I imagine, given the nature of the day, our cuppas will probably be Ohayo gozaimasu. I imagine our cuppas will be strong zero or some really strong coffee. Wouldn't it be nice if they sold strong cafe or something like that? Oh, this little dog is super interested in me. Ohayo gozaimasu. Yeah, so we're gonna shoot a One Cuppa, which is really exciting. I've actually did have some feedback about the first time we did like a duo in One Cuppa, that it seemed to be not as interesting or deep or whatever you want to say as the solo episodes, but I don't know, I really enjoyed, and actually looking back on that with Jake, I think at first, yeah, we were just sort of we weren't talking about things too deeply, but then we sort of settled into it. It's kind of a weird setup, right? Just sort of walk around for half an hour and bare your soul and everything like that. But I think we hit our stride with the second one, and I'm really, like I said, I'm really excited to talk with Emily of Wikipedia. For many reasons, of course, but one of them is that I think it's tomorrow, right? Today is April 3rd, yeah, tomorrow. Utada Hikaru's new songs will be releasing. One on some morning news show. I'm sorry, I don't know it by heart, because I'm just gonna watch it on YouTube. There's these creepy little bastards. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, because they're of religious significance. However, they're super creepy if ever you're here for like a sunrise or sunset run or hike or something. And if you're up here for too long, there's just like this one solitary light up here which lights them in this sort of creepy incandescence. No, thank you. But yeah, Utada Hikaru's new songs are coming out tomorrow, one in the morning and then one on News Zero in the evening, I think at 11 p.m. Which I'm a grandpa, so I'll probably be sleeping by then. But yeah, it'll be really, really good to meet up with her and have a One Cuppa. But the reason why I bring this up, of course, 20 minutes later from when I actually started the topic, is because I always worry about meeting other YouTubers. And I'm sure, I don't know that I'd feel the same. I'm sure I would feel the same if I weren't making videos too. But it's like there's always this, man, I should just not put it on my face at all today, right? This is infinitely more impressive. Infinitely. But yeah, you know, I always worry about meeting people who I know only behind a screen. From only behind a screen. Anyway, I'm gonna worry about the English at the moment, too tired. You know, I always worry about meeting people like this simply because you never know. Honestly, you never know if there are people who seem a certain way through their videos, and that's just sort of, they know they need to act that way for the sake of views. Or, you know, it's a personality because people feel more comfortable putting on a personality, whatever. But I have had the experience where, is this thing on? Yes, okay. I have had the experience where I've thought people have been really decent and really cool in their videos, you know. So I'm dying going up this mountainside. Ohayou gozaimasu. That guy just gave me an idea of a topic. You know, and then you meet them, and it's just like, I never want to talk to this person again, right? Which is not me starting drama, by the way. You know, it is what it is, and I'm not going to name names and stuff like that, but there are just, of course, there are people you just don't like. And there are people who are not what they seem. And so, I worry about that, of course. Of course. Let's get past these girls. Yeah. Not that I think Emily's gonna be like some debauched craven or something like that, but stranger things have happened. Canadians, am I right? So anyway, we don't need to beat that horse to death now. Check out this crow just hanging out there down by the grape hyacinths. Man, this is a lot harder than it should be because I can't breathe today. So sad I'm an ill little boy. Now check this guy out, right? He would appear to be a tengu, right? Sort of like the once thought to be malevolent sort of. They're one of the kami, right? From the Shinto pantheon, if I'm not mistaken. Originally thought to be, like I said, malevolent, but anyway, the view of that has changed. Man, I can't wait till we get to a flat place because I'm just like. Originally thought to be malevolent, but the view of those has changed significantly. And now you see them, like, if you go to Takao-san in, Takao, outside of Tokyo, you'll find them everywhere, statues of them along the trails. When we backpacked last summer, we saw them quite a bit along the trails. But the reason why I show him to you, why he's interesting, why he stands out against all these others, is because, to me, he doesn't look like a typically Japanese incarnation of a deity at all. He looks more like a Norse troll to me. So anyway, I just find it that interesting. Now this is sad, right? And this is why this appears to be a different kind of tree. But this is something I've started to see already. Is look what's on the ground. Right? And back closer to my house, these girls are gaining on me. I've got one on my tail. But yeah, already back towards my place, there's already a bunch of sakura blossoms on the ground. And that's why I would really recommend when, like, I don't know who's responsible for it, maybe the meteorological agency, but when they put out like their predictions for when peak cherry blossom season is going to be, I really suggest you listen and get out and take advantage, because over in a flash of light. Okay, now this is what all this climbing was for, right? Over there, eastern Sabai. I'm out of breath. And you can just see all the cherry blossoms down here. That's where we came up. That's where we're gonna go down. Terribly maintained trail, although it doesn't look it, but I'll show you why as we're going down. But yeah, of course, part of the big thing about the cherry blossoms, right, is this idea of how should I say? Impermanent or imperfect beauty, right? Wabi-sabi. The idea being that it's the fact that they fade and you can't hold on to them forever, right? That makes them so beautiful. Of course, and that can be said for many things, many things. And the other side of that, right? One of the other ways you'll see wabi-sabi played out is like, I can't hear. Is if, for example, you buy a piece of pottery. How are we doing on battery? We're okay. So if you buy a piece of pottery and there's a crack in it, right? They won't toss it out usually. There's like, maybe you'll see it filled in with like a bit of, like the patch will be gold or the patch will be a different color, right? And of course you might think, well, that doesn't cover the crack at all. No, it doesn't. It accentuates it, right? That it accentuates the imperfect, the unique blemish of the piece that makes it beautiful and unlike any others. And I hope you guys can see this off in the distance. And I think it was in the burrow where I briefly showed off these one of these expanses of yellow flowers, but those over there are nanohana. What to say about nanohana? Nanohana, the characters are na, like yasai, vegetable, no, and hana, flower, so basically like vegetable flower, right? And with a name like that, of course, you would expect that they're eaten, which they are. You can go to like your izakaya and you'll find them pickled. Like the stems are pickled in soy sauce, sometimes with a little vinegar. A lot of times mixed with freshly ground wasabi, things like that. Now here's where we were looking at before. This is Western Sabai. That's Hearts down there. That's a pretty good shopping center. Over there is Mr. Donuts, which is always sad because it's so far from my apartment. But what were we talking about? Oh, so the nanohana, right? Besides being eaten, right, they're also like frequently featured in folk songs. If you remember the Inca video, one of the lyrics is Nanohana Batake, right, the fields of Nanohana. And of course they don't get as much popular recognition as say your Sakura, right? Like nobody's like, hey, let's go look at Nanohana. No, that's not true, he says, realizing the bullshit coming out of his mouth the second he says it. When I was at the field the other day, just sort of biking around for B-roll, there were a ton of people there, a ton of families, moms and their small kids, and entire families too. They were just playing in the field and taking pictures and enjoying the wonderful, wonderful smell of the Nanohana fields. Nanohana. Oh good. Alright, I've been given 2 story ideas for which to tell you on our walk here. I don't think I want to go down this side of the mountain because that's going to bring us down there, and I actually want to go back down through the Sakura, right, and across to the rather famous park that's over there. I'm going to hold the camera this way so we're not getting the people sitting in our frame. But as we came up the mountain, right? Now see, this is what I was talking about this trail, because there are steps, right? So you're like, oh, steps, that makes it easy to climb. No. A lot of them are so washed out that for every step you take, you actually step below the step and have to climb back up the step and then repeat the process. As Travis Moore, my travel companion from the Big Smoke, aka London, will tell you. This is beautiful. Of course, got a runner coming up here. Yeah, these kind of trails suck when you're on them for a very long time, which is why if you see them, a lot of times there's a secondary foot trail that's been carved off just to the side of them because people don't want to kill their freaking knees. Sounds like the train's coming through. But yeah, as I was coming up the mountain, right, there was an old man who looked at me, and I looked at him. And generally when that happens, if there's postponed eye contact, right, I think you have one of 2 options. Not postponed, prolonged eye contact. Your options generally are just to stare awkwardly at each other for a couple seconds, or sometimes a lot longer than that, which is terrible and sucks and don't do it. Or you say, you know, ohayou gozaimasu, konnichiwa, whatever the time of day is. And that's not just me, it seems, because that's how a lot of times why so many people say hello to me, is because we do have that sort of prolonged chit-chat. Now, before we finish off going down the mountain, now I know mountain is a kind of a strong word to use in this case, but if you can see that that bank of sort of like megaphones up there, but at sunset and sunrise every day, this is where they play the almost died, the White Castle in the Sky Raputa theme song for sunrise and sunset. It makes for this really amazing sort of nerdy, cheesy experience here every day, but it's beautiful. But back to the story at hand, Chuckles. So, yeah, so you make this prolonged eye contact, and without fail, right, somebody's gonna say hello, whether it's me or the other person. But what you will find here with old men especially, right, is that a lot of times they will either start with "Hai, ohayou gozaimasu," right? They'll say "Hai" first, which is, I don't know why it's said that way. I guess it doesn't really matter. But one thing you come to know is that "Hai" has so many hello. "Hai" has so many different meanings, from yes to no to kind of like almost like well, good morning, stay a while and listen, you know, kind of thing. But if you are the one to say hello, and this is something I thought was really, really rude at first, I was like, God damn, you don't do that to me, is like if I was the one to say, you know, good morning, ohayou gozaimasu or something, they would say, hai, or hai, right? like many different inflections, of course, as we weave our way down the side here. And I thought, like, well, you can't be bothered to say, you know, like, good morning back to me. Like, it's too much work for you to say Ohayo or Ohayo gozaimasu or konnichiwa or whatever. And no, it's not like that. Talking with the izakaya master, like, why do people just say hi when I say good morning to them? He's like, oh, it's just they're saying good morning back to you. No, they're recognizing you. They're not just ignoring you. So take it for what it is. So I take it for what it is, right? Whoa. This person seems to be playing some kind of lateral? Yeah, lat is flat, right? Lateral guitar, whose name escapes me. But this one too, this Buddha, this fellow is rocking out karaoke right now. Check that out. But yeah, so that's one thing you'll notice, particularly when talking with older people. That doesn't seem to happen with old women. Like, I never say good morning to them and then just have them answer yes. Right? So, let's see if I can give you a view of the city from the bridge down here. Now, there's this big this big purple bridge that bisects this part of Sabae, this Nishiyama-cho, right? That's what the park, this mountain is Nishiyama, East Mountain, right? East? No, dummy, West. West Mountain, Nishiyama. And yeah, so sort of connecting the two sides, right? This one, of course, as I just said, oh my god, it's so beautiful, I just want it to stay forever. This here is Nishiyama. This over here is even less of a yama, so I guess it doesn't warrant being called yama, but there's a park which I've showed you guys a couple times before, once when I was here with Lisa, sometimes last year, and then in a One Cuppa just before I went home for Christmas. We were actually over there. Of course, now it's covered in cherry blossoms. So I guess we should probably, do we want to make our way over there? I don't know if we do. I kind of just want to go back down through here, but for the sake of your entertainment, I suppose we should go over there, right? So there's that big purple bridge I was talking about. And one thing you notice when we get on there is it goes dead quiet, right? Dead quiet. Because, as happens a lot of times here, when you get onto a walkway, or even like a bike path that is sort of really close by to like a highway or something like that, it would be really loud, right? So there are soundproof walls that are put up, so you can just sort of enjoy the quiet, enjoy the view, that kind of thing. And when I was living outside of Nagoya during college, basically the entire highway was walled off so that our little, you know, the rice fields, the tambo, and our little house and everything, not a little house, is actually a ridiculously large house, but anyway, you know, you wouldn't be disturbed. And of course it's good for sound pollution and things like that too for the animals, and I wonder how much of that goes into it. Of course I don't know. I don't really know, but anyway, it's just kind of an interesting difference because that sort of thing does not exist in the United States, at least I've never known it to. So as we cross over, this sort of yellow building straight ahead, that's where I take Japanese classes. Or used to, I should say. And then right across the way here, you can't see it, is my friend's, actually my student's father, who has become a friend of mine. His, see, it's all quiet. Is it that quiet? I don't know. His bakery is down that way. And, not specifically Japan related, but, something I've talked about before, and I don't know why it's happened, but a good many of my friends here, are creative accidentally. Like I didn't set out to be like, okay, I want to find super creative people, ohayou gozaimasu, super creative people, and only have them be my friends, or people who do their own thing and stuff like that. But that's sort of accidentally been the case. Now I know I mentioned to a couple of my students that I was going to be coming here today, and they made it very clear that they would be coming here pretty much all day with an effort to hunt me down. which is fine. Like I would love to see my kids say what's up, you know, what's up kids, how you doing? Get to see them outside of class, you know. I wanna get to know my kids, of course. I hope we don't encounter them while we're shooting, because it would just be a pain in the butt. But right, so what I was talking about, right, back home in the United States, of course, like my friends were friends that I made. Well, two kinds of friends I guess I made. On the one hand would be mostly writers, writers that I met when I was working as a writer, right? That's a given, and that was awesome. That was awesome. They're still my friends. When I went home from Christmas, it was just the best freaking thing, reuniting with those guys. Because they get it, you know. They get so much, like, the struggle of coming up with ideas and not being able to get ideas out and things like that. You know, and then ohayou gozaimasu. And then the other half, there's one part of the park down there. God, I wish I could breathe. I feel like today I feel like I don't run every day. Reminds me of that. First of all, I should say I'm not Goku, but reminds me of that story arc in Dragon Ball Z when Goku's like supposed to be super strong, but he has that heart disease, and so everything he does is just like, that's how I feel today. But yeah, the other half of my friends were mostly history majors, philanthropists, philosophers, things like that. So basically, all of my friends back home were people who do too much thinking, like me. Do too much thinking about everything. And a lot of writing and things like that. But here, this is beautiful. Oh my gosh. Ikitete yokatta no kanji ne. Happy to be alive. Now this guy, I've shown you him before. Manabe Akikatsu, he is responsible for like this whole thing. It's sort of built up in his honor. And that building I showed you before is actually called the Manabe Center, named after that guy. So, but here, as I was starting to say, now my friends are still like creative types, but they're creative in like a different way. I have met like one or two writers, but because there's such a language barrier, they're still, we can't really, there's no collaboration, right? And it's like what a lot of the fun is, making friends with writers and artists and photographers, is being able to do that collaboration. So I am sort of working very, very slowly through this process of, check out this footpath, man. I've shown you this before. Through this process of working on like a very early stage comic with a friend here. But anyway, I'm getting off topic, go figure. This is so beautiful. Koi. Man, feel good, except for not feeling good, but anyway. Now the reason why I bring up this bit about who my friends are here is that, you know, there's all this, and this is something I talked about a lot last week, was this idea of what Japanese people are, right? They are this, they are that, they aren't this, whatever, like, but if you want to meet people who truly defy the sort of the stereotype, right, I would say, make friends with people who have to forge their own way, who give themselves their jobs, who, you know, whose livelihood is dependent on their own hustle, you know. Izakaya masters, bakers, things like that, you know, and of course writers and artists and things like that, because you will not get any of this overly modest sort of attitude about anything, right? One of the reasons why most of my time now is not spent going out socially if I'm not making these videos or writing, I am sitting in my room studying Japanese, like really, really seriously when I come home. Hey bro, hey. Yeah, hello to you, sorry, not anything to give you. Look at him, he's like, feed me. Feed me. God, you are beautiful creatures. I hope you have long lives. Long, healthy lives. You know, yeah, part of the reason why I'm just like sequestering myself most nights now is because, you know, I go to this place, this izakaya, and then I hang out with this guy on the weekends sometimes. Let's have a seat for a minute and just sort of enjoy, shall we? We don't sit enough on this show. Yes, we do. You know, I hang out with this guy and our associated friends, and the other day he said to me, he's like, has your Japanese gotten better at all? And I'm like, damn man, you are killing my buzz here, you know, because I'm feeling pretty good. Like I've got the nama, the beer in my belly. Well, I've eaten this most delicious chicken wing dish I've ever had in Japan, and I'm feeling so good, and I'm high on conversation and friendship. But yeah, he just looks at me and he's like, has your Japanese gotten any better? And it wasn't like, has your Japanese gotten any better? It was like, has your Japanese gotten any better? Kind of like, yo, clearly you have been slacking off here. You need to like get to frickin' work, right? If we're gonna like be friends, and I'm gonna take you out, and I'm gonna show you around these places, introduce you to my friends. We're all gonna make friends, stuff like that. You gotta frickin' work on it, buddy, right? And it's this sort of brutal honesty which you don't, which A is a sign of friendship, right? I think, yeah. Like you know, it's like the same thing like with like my best friend at home. His name is Sean. He's a writer, he's a photographer, he's a stonemason, he's all these things, and he is honest with me all the time. Like when I'm like, oh, well, I have writer's block and stuff like that. He's the kind of guy who's just like, are you just gonna complain that you can't do something, or are you gonna shut the hell up and actually be a writer? Like that's the type of guy he is, right? And that's one of the reasons why I love him. And that's why one of the reasons why I think I've made such good friends with these people who do their own thing, is that they're unbelievably honest when compared to my other friends. I think it's just because they realize that it's not going to get you any place to sort of like kid yourself or to kid anybody, right? Like I said, their success begins and ends with them. And that requires self-honesty and self-reflection and stuff like that. And so when these guys are like, hey man, you need to quit fucking around. Sorry, haven't been drinking, but there's an F-bomb. Like really quit screwing around. You know, and it's the same kind of people who will tell you if you say something stupid, you make a bad joke, that you're like, baka yaro. You know, like you're an idiot. That's not funny, you're just stupid kind of thing, you know. So anyway, I'm holding up this this pavilion, this kind of famous pavilion that people are gonna want to come see, and they're sort of looking over here like, do I have to be on that guy's camera? So let's get out of here. We got lucky with that rain, eh? But yeah, so it's just like that experience has been incredibly invaluable for me, making friends with those kinds of people. And you know, oh, and I have a story. I've just reminded of another story, which is good for us, right? Konnichiwa. Yeah, you need real friends, right? Of course, wherever you are. I'm not wherever where you are. That English though. You know. What is down this? Oh, bathrooms. Probably I don't need to show you people going in and out of the bathroom. We'll just go back the way we came. Got about a third left in this big one. And I figured if we're going to be doing cherry blossom viewing, we should make it a long one, right? So I can show you guys plenty of them. Because like I said before, you know what, they're going to be gone. Jeez. Sumimasen. But yeah, so moving off that topic, and I guess this will probably be our last topic that we'll talk about, right? There was a kick-up of the of J-vlogger Führer, not like Führer, my weird German pronunciation. furor when a couple weeks ago now, I guess, of course, he who shall remain nameless made a video sort of, you know, the whole Gaijin Hunter thing. That's probably all I need to say for most of you out there. But, you know, and then there's some really good responses, like Bernie Lowe, for example. I would really recommend you check out her video about what it was like. Her basically saying, you know, Gaijin Hunters do exist here and all that stuff. But also her talking about how, okay, so Bernie, if you don't know, is from Singapore. And so, as tends to be the case from Singapore, she has Asian features, right? She looks Asian. You know, and her talking about how because she looked Asian and she was hanging out with like foreign friends and was speaking English, like people treated her like she was a Gaijin hunter kind of thing, you know? And so she was mistaken for a Gaijin hunter anyway. I didn't want to give the whole thing away. Well, I guess I just did, but you should really check out her video. But anyway, this is a really interesting experience, personal anecdote, I guess I will share with you guys about my own experiences with Gaijin Hunter. And it seems to fit coming off this talk about making real friends, these deep friends who will tell you to eat shit when you're being stupid, kind of thing. We're gonna wait till these kids pass.
Stop it, stop it.
Let's go down this way so we're not getting those kids on camera. But yeah, you know, as I was talking about like making these true friends, and check out this beautiful pathway, right? Made all the more so from the cherry blossom, of course. Cherry blossom makes everything better, except certain foods, like super sticky rice balls with cherry blossom flavor in it. So yeah, my story here, Gaijin Hunter. I was involved with a woman here for, I guess it must have been 6 months or so. A Japanese woman. And I say that because it's important to the story next. It's like, I dated a Japanese woman. Oh, I'm so awesome. Shut up, you're not. You know, and it was as serious as any 6-month relationship can be, right? Truly, you probably don't know each other all that well. At that point, it's sort of like you're at that stage where you're like, okay, maybe I want to stay with this person for a while longer. But anyway, long story short, in that sense, I realized that I didn't want to stay with that person any longer, right? Because it becoming ever more clear to me that the qualities of mine that she was interested in had nothing to do with my passions or my flaws or the things I was good at or anything like that, right? Which normally when you care about somebody, those are things that make you care, like the things they care about, the way they treat people, you know all these different things, what you have in common. And honestly, you know, I really cared about this person. I still care about them. Which is probably a bit of a personal failing considering where this story is going, but yeah, you know, anyway, basically it was like, okay, well, it became very clear that she never wanted to speak Japanese to me. You know, like, it became increasingly clear after a while that, like, she didn't really want to introduce me to, like, a lot of her close friends. And then, like, the final straw was like, you know, the final straw was like when I did finally be like, yo, I want to meet your friends, like, aren't we dating type thing, like, aren't we together? Oh, I'm like holding this car up like an asshole. You know, and she did introduce me to it. The friend was like, oh, another Gaijin type thing, and I was like, oh, okay. Now it's all like all the pieces fall into place, right? So we broke up, and of course after the fact it was like this thing of like, all right, well maybe, you know, maybe she just by chance she dates foreign guys, you know, maybe I was wrong in this regard, you know, I was missing her type thing. and then this is the kicker. you know, she messages me, and I'm like, okay, I can be cordial. Like, why not? Why not be friendly about it? I'm not gonna hate her or anything like that. So she messages me, and she's like, I just want to let you know I'm gonna be moving to Australia next year. And I'm like, okay, what are you gonna be doing there? You going back to school, like study abroad, going to improve your English, stuff like that, you know? And no, she says, no, Charlie, I mean, she says, you know how much I want to get married. And I'm like, do I? You know, do I type thing, don't say this. And then she's like, oh yeah, but, so anyway, I'm gonna get married. Oh, there's what? Is that one of my kids? I'm gonna get married, and then I'm gonna go to, no, it's not one of my kids. I'm gonna get married, and then I'm moving to Australia. And I'm like, oh, you know. So of course I'm like, oh, congratulations, and that's awesome. But, you know, the thing is, I'm not realizing there's a spider web like straddling my eyeballs, which feels disgusting. You know, and as I said, this was 6 months ago, right? This is 6 months ago that, or not 6 months ago, it's actually pretty recent, but like, when I say recent, I mean maybe a month, 2 months ago. And yeah, she's like, you know, I'm marrying this Australian guy. It's just, and I'm like, oh, cool. So how'd you meet? And it was like, well, I won't tell you how they met. I don't want to give too many details, but basically it was like, ohayou gozaimasu. You know, basically it was like, yeah, well, we met, and he said he really likes Japanese girls and he likes Japanese culture, and I really like foreign men, and blah blah blah. And I was just like, ah. So clearly, like, I escaped like the Gaijin death trap, right? Now, this story illustrates two things. The first is that, well, yeah, Gaijin hunter do exist, right? Right? I feel like I know that person. Though she's wearing a mask, so I can't be sure. Yeah, so, you know, that exists. And that's one thing that maybe was lost a little bit in all of this, is that, except when you watch Bernie's videos and Jake Naughton's videos, and pretty much anybody who had like a rational, reasonable response to everything, was that, yeah, this is a thing that happens. People will use you for your tokenism, for your unusual appearance, at least by relative standards here, for your ability to teach them a language, things like that. But of course, on the other side of that, it's not just a Japanese problem, right? And this is why I said what I said earlier. It doesn't make you special or cool, right? If you are a Gaijin who's dating Japanese women, right? But just as there are Japanese women and Japanese men who feel that way about being able to date a foreigner, it seems, in my experience, particularly with men who look like me, and I'm not trying to vilify you guys out there, but particularly with men who look like me, there is just as much, if not a larger problem, with fetishizing and making dating Japanese women out to be this disgusting thing, which it should never be. So anyway, on that rather heavy note, there's a peacock screaming up there. That's that peacock we saw earlier, this is now where we are, right? Let's go back down here now that those kids' faces are turned away. Beautiful, peaceful. Yes, that's the thing that happens here, Garth. So anyway, on that note, as we take our last sip from our cuppa here, as always, let me know what you think about any of these topics: Gaijin hunting, making friends, the impermanence of the season, all these different things down in the comments below. I've got to go shoot a video for the burrow now and take pictures of a Bulbasaur. If you don't know why I'm taking pictures of a Bulbasaur, please check out my Tumblr, or go over to the burrow later today and check out that video that will explain it more fully, or at all, I guess. Yeah, guys, thanks always for watching, and like I said, be sure to tune in next weekend when I'm really excited to be welcoming Wikipedia to the channel and to One Cuppa and all that jazz. And yeah, have a wonderful day. See you all very soon indeed. Cheers.